Okay, this video is for questions 16 through 20, and this particular one, I'll move it over here so you can see it right there. It's the end of course 2A. So moving it back over here. So number 16 says we have to write a piecewise function for this graph. What does that mean? Well, there are two pieces of the graph, if you want to think of it that way. So this is two pieces. And if you look at it, you can see the two parts right here. So I'll put that one in my yellow. So that's one graph, and it looks like a separate graph, almost like they put two different graphs on this Cartesian plane here. So that's really what we have to do. We also want to make note of what is x at this location where this happens. So that's going to be right here, and that number is a 2. That's going to be important for us here. So since we are talking about a function, we are going to use function notation. So we're going to write f of x right here, and then you'll have an equal sign, and we're going to have two different things since there are two different pieces. Okay, so essentially we want to know what is happening when the value of x is more than 2, and what's happening when it's 2 or less. And I'm saying it that way because this is filled in right there. So it's equal to 2, or to the left, it's doing this pink thing. And if it is more than 2, that's not filled in, it's doing what's on the yellow line. So I'm going to focus on the yellow one first. It's probably slightly easier here. So this is a horizontal line, and we've learned that horizontal lines generally look like y equals a number. In this case, here's y, it's 4. So basically I can just say it's going to be 4 if x is greater than 2. So it's saying if the value of x is greater than 2, what is the graph doing? It's just hanging out here at 4. It's not doing anything else. Okay, so what about this part if it's not? So this line right here, even though it says it's going down this way, it is still read from left to right. This is a positive slope. So what is the slope? Well, pick a couple points. It's going up 2 and over 1. Up 2 over 1. So that means a slope of 2. So I'm going to say 2x. Then I need its y-intercept. Here's 0, 0. There it's crossing right there. That's negative 1. So it's 2x minus 1, and then that's going to be when x is less than or even equal to 2. So that's my piecewise function for this. Number 17. We're going to be given the first 4 terms of an arithmetic sequence, and then it says to go ahead and find the 18th term. Now, some people I know are going to just figure out what the common difference is and then figure out every single term until the 18th. And you can do that. But I'm going to do it a different way here. So first off, you've got to look at here and you think 2 to 5. Oh, that appears to be going up by 3. 5 to 8, also 3. 8 to 11, also 3. So our common difference is 3. All right, so we're going to use a formula here instead of figuring out what all those numbers are. So I'm going to just write down that formula here. So to get a number down the line in an arithmetic sequence, so we have a sub n is equal to a sub 1. That represents your first term, plus the number that you're looking for, the number in the sequence that you're looking for, minus 1 times the common difference. Okay, we have these things. So we're looking for this a sub n, but we're looking for the 18th term right here. So that's going to be a sub 18. So that means the 18th term in this arithmetic sequence. So is equal to, a sub 1 means the first term. That's that 2. Plus, and then I'm looking for the 18th term minus 1, and then the common difference was 3. All right, so I need to just simplify, follow the rules here. So 2 plus 18 minus 1, that's going to give me a 17 times 3. And I can tell I'm going to run out of room here, but Let's do one more line right here. So 2 plus, and then I have 17 times 3 there. So that number is going to be a 51. And as I said, I was running out of space, so I'm just going to finish up right here. So the 18th term is going to be 2 plus 51, or 53. So that's my answer for that one. Number 18 is giving us a table. Okay, so read a paragraph here. It's just a couple sentences to see what are we supposed to do with this thing. So sum ordered pairs for a linear function, so some kind of line that goes through all these points, basically is what it's saying. So sum ordered pairs for a linear function of x are given in this table. Write an equation in slope-intercept form. So we have to know, what does it want us to have it look like at the end? And that one's a nice one. That's that y equals mx plus b form that you could use to do this. So to get y equals mx plus b, slope-intercept form, I need to know the slope, and then I'm going to need to know where is it crossing the y-axis. So we're kind of see how we're going to handle that. All right, so we've already figured out slope in a previous one. That was number 11. We did it a couple times. So we can do it slightly differently here. If you think about it this way, -5 to -1, that's adding 4. And just to confirm, they are adding 4 each step of the way. And then here, it's a bigger number. -13 to 11, that's adding 12. This is also 12, and that's 12. Okay, that's good news. So my slope is going to be the difference of the y's. Well, the difference is 12. And then the difference of the x's is 4. So that's a nice number. It's a 3. So I already know that my answer is going to be y equals 3x plus something. So at that point, I just need to figure out where is that y-intercept going to be. And there's a couple ways we could do that. Since we've already done the point slope form, why don't I go ahead and use that again? So I need to use a couple points. I'm going to go ahead and use the 3, 11, mostly because they're both positive right there. So I'm going to call that my x sub 1 and my x sub 2. So I'm going to write that right here. So my x sub 1, I'm going to say that's 3, and my y sub 1, we'll say 11. I already have my m. So my formula, now I know I said I'm going to use this, but you'll see how it's going to turn into that. So y minus y sub 1 is equal to slope times x minus x sub 1. Okay, so I'm going to plug in these 3 numbers right here. Y minus 11 is equal to 3 times x minus, and I'm looking for the other one, 3. All right. Distribute, because I need it in that form. So y minus 11 is equal to 3x minus 3 times 3 is 9. I only have one more thing to do. I'm going to add 11 to both sides, and I'll have my answer, 3x plus 2. So there it is. That's the equation of the line in slope-intercept form that would make this table of values. All right, we have a couple more in this section, even though I see the clock is already at 9 minutes, but I think I can fit it all in. So number 19, it says a student has 12 coins, and only in nickels and dimes. Also, we know that the total value is 85 cents, and it wants us to figure out how many dimes there are. Okay, so this isn't a bad one. So first off, I would go ahead and do something like this. Let's do the dimes first. So dimes are 10 cents, so I'm going to put 0.10, and we'll say times d, which means the number of dimes. Add that to 5 times the number of nickels, and that represents our total amount of money, which is only 85 cents. Okay, so that's one equation, and the reason why I'm saying that is I've got 2 variables, the number of nickels and the number of dimes. So if I have 2 variables, I need 2 equations to figure that out. So what else do I know? Well, I know that the total number of coins is 12. So I know the number of dimes plus the number of nickels is equal to 12. I'm even going to put 0.00 just to kind of make that look clear there. All right, so this is called a system of equations, and I'm going to take a look here. We wanted dimes, so since I want to know the number of dimes, I'm going to eliminate the nickels. So I'm going to look for my red pen over here, and I'm going to multiply this line by negative 0.05. So that's the whole thing here, and that's going to cause me to be able to cancel out the nickels. All right, so I'll keep it in red. So negative 0.05 dimes, and then minus 0.05 nickels is equal to, and then I need negative 0.05 times 12, and I'll just do that off to the side here. So 12 times the negative 0.05, that's going to be negative 0.6. So negative 0.6. 0.6. Okay, there you go. All right, so for the time being, we can almost just ignore these two. We're going to add those two, if you can kind of see what I'm talking about here. So the nickels are going to cancel out, and we'll go from there. All right, so let me get that pen out of the way, and I'm going to put a line across here, and so 0.10d minus 0.05, that means I'm going to have 0.05, and that's positive d. Nickels are opposite, so they cancel out, and then I have 0.85 and then negative 0.6. So that means I have 0.25. All right, so I'm going to go over here, and I'll write this again. I have 0.5d is equal to 0.25. So I have to divide both sides by 0.5. I think I just said that wrong. 0.05. All right, so after I do that, and I'm just reaching over for my calculator here, so 0.25 divided by 0.05 is going to give me an answer of 5. So there are 5 dimes, and we all know 5 dimes is 50 cents. There's 12 total coins, so that means there must be another 7 nickels. Nickels are 5 cents each, so that's 35 cents. 50 cents plus 35 cents is 85. So it makes sense. All right, this last one that hopefully I'm going to have time to do, because it's going to cut me off pretty soon. We're going to graph this inequality, but I'm going to write it right here to have a tiny bit more room, like so. I have to get y by itself. So I'm going to subtract x from both sides and get y is greater than, and I'm going to put this x term first, plus 3. Okay, so my slope is going to be negative 1. So negative 1, you can think of that as negative 1 over 1. And then my y-intercept is going to be this number right here, which is 3. But there's also something we have to consider. This symbol, the greater than symbol, means we have to make the line dashed. So I'm going to write dashed line. And also, because it's greater than, we're going to shade above. Record my voice, but just in case it is. Obviously, I made a mistake. The B is 3, so it should be right here, not here. So this is the correct one. So you put in the slope, and so all of this was, oops.